Okay, let's dive into this. We all know the drill, right? You put in the long hours, you survive a brutally stressful month at work, and finally, you see that $2,000 gross paycheck notification. It feels amazing. It feels like a solid, hard-earned reward for your time and energy.
But then reality hits your actual bank account. Instead of the full $2,000 you earned, you're looking at $1,456. A massive chunk of your money is completely gone before you could even touch it.
Which brings us to the ultimate question. Where did a quarter of your life just vanish to? It's like there are invisible forces literally pulling money from your pockets. Well, in this explainer, we are breaking down the 5 foundational concepts of money that are constantly playing out behind the scenes and showing you exactly how to rig the game back in your favor.
So, the crucial point is, we start with Pillar 1, the dark reality of taxes, or as it's sometimes called, the subscription fee for civilization.
Now, we all know taxes fund everything from smooth highways to massive military missiles. But the catch is that the government takes multiple, relentless bites out of your wallet. They tax the money you make with income tax, the money you spend with sales tax, and the money you make while sleeping through capital gains. Add in those mandatory forced savings accounts like Social Security and Medicare, and the cuts are happening at every single stage of your money's life cycle. And honestly, the sheer ironic absurdity of how this is actually executed every year is incredible. Think about it. The government knows exactly what you owe them, literally down to the penny. Yet you were forced to guess the answer to this massive math puzzle on your tax return. If you guess right, nothing happens. But if you guess wrong, yeah, you're cooked. You get penalized.
All right, this leads us to Pillar 2, the great bank illusion, because banks are matchmakers, not vaults.
We really need to shatter this myth that a bank is some dark, impenetrable vault guarded by a dragon. That money you just handed the teller, it is already gone. It's a system called fractional reserve banking. You deposit $1,000, and the bank keeps a tiny fraction of it, say $100, in reserve. Then they immediately lend out the remaining $900 to fund a total stranger's jet ski. And the crazy thing is, this system works perfectly, unless everyone panics and demands their cash at the exact same time, which breaks the whole illusion.
Just look at the staggering gap between the absolute pennies they pay you in interest and the massive interest they charge to those borrowers. Banks are essentially winning a silent war, using your money. Now, we tolerate this because the government insures our deposits up to $250,000, but make no mistake, letting your cash just sit there forever means you are slowly losing.
Which brings us to the engine actually driving those banks, Pillar 3, interest, or, simply put, money charging rent to exist. You have to understand the 2 faces of compound interest. A 20% credit card balance, that is an absolute trap. It's a situation where clones of your debt demand rent, quickly turning a $12 burrito into a $50 regret. On the flip side, securing a 7% annual return is essentially a cheat code. It systematically duplicates your $100 into $200, $400, and eventually $800 over time. It really all boils down to this golden rule. If you are paying interest, kill it fast. If you are earning interest, leave it alone. This one concept is literally the defining line between waking up broke in your later years or waking up comfortable, rich, and maybe even slightly smug. It's the ultimate deciding factor between the winners and the losers in this system. Now, let's shift gears to Pillar 4, inflation and value, the slow, silent erosion. And this brilliantly illustrates how we actually survive inflation, which isn't an explosion, but a slow erosion, like opening a bag of chips that is 70% air, only to realize the price jumped from $2 to $3.50. Surviving that requires understanding value. Take a gray rock. It's common, low value. But a shiny yellow rock, like gold, it isn't inherently magical. It simply holds a higher perceived value because humans collectively decided its rarity is worth more.
The secret here is that wealth creation isn't about desperately digging around for cash. It's about packaging immense perceived value. That is exactly why Steve Jobs could charge thousands for an iPhone, why a doctor can command fortunes for life-saving surgery, or why a luxury brand can charge 100 times more for what's essentially the exact same canvas bag you'd get at a grocery store. If you want to outrun inflation, you have to stop looking for cash and start creating value.
Which reveals our 5th and final rule. Pillar 5, time, the ultimate asset. Time is way more powerful than real estate or diamonds, because it's the one asset we all start with but eventually run completely out of. Most people unfortunately fall right into the linear path, trading time directly for money, where 1 hour worked equals 1 paycheck. But the ultra-wealthy, they follow an exponential curve. Time is the ultimate multiplier.
Ordinary people can retire with millions simply by getting off the linear path and letting their investments compound over 3 decades.
So, you now understand the 5 rules. You can clearly see the dark reality of taxes, the great bank illusion, the incredible power of interest, the silent erosion of inflation, and the absolute finality of time. But listen, just knowing the rules of this rigged game is completely useless if you don't actually take action. In our future explainers, we're going to dive deep into the specific assets you need to buy to outrun inflation and build real wealth. But for right now, I'm going to leave you with this. What is your exact next move?